Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. I'm writing a paper and I need a break, guys. This professor brutal, so let's talk about what else. Billy Mitchell versus Carl Jobs. Let me tell you, I don't know what you guys did to us out there, you Carl Jobs supporters, but it's time to face the truth, right? It's time you guys come back down to reality. There is no way, absolutely no way, in my uneducated opinion, right? Because I'm not a lawyer, that Carl Jobs is going to beat Billy Mitchell at anything ever. He's done. He's cooked. It's over. It's over. And if I was in his position, and again, I'm not a professional, if I was in his position, I'd be looking to negotiate regardless of what my fans think, because, it's just too much money. $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money, man. That's life-changing money. And now these guys have him fighting not one lawyer, but two lawyers, right? I don't know what you guys did to this guy. I absolutely don't. I just watched this video here. Another 20 minutes where he's going into detail. And he's asking for that other lawsuit, right? On this multiple lawsuits that he's claiming that he had. He's wanting to see proof, right? He's wanting to see proof of where this other lawsuit or lawsuits are, because he was claiming multiple lawsuits. This is not a great position to be in whatsoever, because this guy is, you could tell, he's a little frustrated with whatever you guys did to him out there. And now he's exposing Carl Jobs. Right? He's saying that he did mislead his audience, right? And he's asking him to produce proof of what he said while he was crowdfunding for his lawsuit. Regardless, guys, it doesn't look good. Carl Jobs is not going to raise any more money the way he used to. I'm sure there's some people out there that will give him some money, but nowhere near the amounts he needs. I mean, it's insane. It's insane thinking that you're going to raise $1 million to pay this off, or a million Australian dollars, right? Or just to pay Billy Mitchell off. I mean, if you couldn't raise, $500,000 when everybody was supporting him, he's not going to raise it now when everybody hates him, except for the people that are gassing him up on Discord. You're never going to beat Billy Mitchell. I mean, you have to start at that point. You don't have the money, right? You don't have the money raising power, right? The courts are against you, not only in the way they're ruled, but in the way they're going to look at Carl Jobs now after all this Discord has leaked, and Discord has been an absolute shit show for Carl Jobs. It has been his demise. The one place where he feels, safe or whatever. There's people in there that obviously don't agree with him, because they're leaking everything for his opponents to, screenshot. And first of all, he shouldn't be saying any of those things. Second of all, why the hell does he have a Discord talking about legal matters with people that aren't lawyers? All this stuff should be private. And they're all self-made wounds. It's death of 1,000 cuts. And it just keeps happening and happening and happening. And the last thing that he needed, the very last thing that he needed, is to have another lawyer going through his court records, going through his papers, and telling people that he misled them when he was raising money. Probably that's the last thing that he needed, right? And it would have happened if he wasn't on Discord. It never would have happened if these people weren't, going after this lawyer here, which, and I followed him. He wasn't like antagonistic towards Carl in the beginning. If anything, he was even asking for mercy for Carl after he lost. He was like, think about his kids, think about his family, things that we've said over here, when you're going into these kind of things. And he's gotten the complete opposite way. Let me tell you guys, for those of you who've never been in a lawsuit, the worst thing about a lawsuit in my experience, as a person who's been in lawsuits, is the anticipation that you don't know what the heck's going to happen, right? It's uncertain. Like right now, he doesn't know exactly how much he's going to pay because the lawyers are still negotiating. Well, if you settle, right, if you come to some sort of agreement, at least you know, right? At least you have a number. Because what are these other options? Obviously his current lawyers didn't do such a good of a job, and he got completely royally screwed because he had already spent $200,000, I'm sorry, while Billy Mitchell hadn't even reached that amount with his lawyers, right? So he got taken for a ride as far as price. He overpaid for lawyers that were less qualified than Billy Mitchell's, right? I mean, the whole thing is screwed. And this guy was acting, since he had the worst attitude from the beginning, like he was going to win, and look at him now. Still believing, that he's going to win and he's going to, on appeal, do something. He's not going to do anything. His video's not going to change anything. If anything, he's got to go re-edit it now, because now these new allegations that he lied to his supporters come out. He's going to have to answer that. He's going to have to come up with another lawsuit somewhere, like the one that you're seeing on screen, stamped by the court. Because that's the only thing that's a lawsuit if you listen to this video, right? There's no way that this lawyer believes that Carl Jobs mistook, a concerns letter for an actual lawsuit. And he presented it as lawsuits to the public while he was raising money. That's a damning allegation, right? If proven to be true. I don't know. But if this lawyer's willing to stand on it because somebody pissed him off, right? If this guy's going hard in the paint like this, is because he can't find any proof that there was any other lawsuits. Let alone two. Or more than two, whatever, Carl was alleging. So now if he tries to raise money again, this is all that's going to be brought up. Completely destroyed, right? This guy went after Billy Mitchell and found self-destruction. Completely destroyed his career, his credibility, everything. And the worst part is that this is brought on, this last part was brought on by his supporters, by people that are supposed to be, having his back. You're not going to get anybody, absolutely nobody, to get on camera with this guy anymore, especially when it comes to raising funds after this stuff come out, right? He's going to have the same problem as the completionist. What an irony, right? Claiming to raise funds for something that you weren't quite straight about. Well, at least that money from Gerard actually eventually, right, went to the charities. This guy's going to have to pull out another lawsuit out of his ass somehow, right? And this is why this lawyer's, saying, I can't find it, right? Billy's saying it was only one. He only filed one. Show me the other one. Show me more than one so your statements are true. Right? You could tell this lawyer's frustrated. He's pissed. I have no idea what they did to him. But this is the worst position that Carl Jobs could be in. Right? It just got from bad to worse. From bad to worse. This guy will never beat Billy Mitchell. He doesn't have the tools. He doesn't have the money. And now he doesn't have the credibility. Will somebody ever beat Billy Mitchell? Probably not. Nobody has the appetite to go through these things and lose this kind of money and risk these kind of things. Because Billy Mitchell's going to take it to the end because he's got money. He doesn't care about the money. He cares about getting a result. Now, that's what makes him, dangerous in court. And he stuck this one out. And look at what's happened to Carl Jobs. I think everybody, even fans that are not Carl Jobs fans, want to see him continue because he does produce good content, right? But he's not going to continue like this. He's not going to continue while he foments this kind of stuff on the internet, making new enemies that have more resources than him that are willing to expose him. This is not how he's going to get back on track, man. It just went from bad to worse. If a lawyer is willing to challenge him like this, man, he's not afraid. And if this lawyer's not afraid, he's not afraid for a reason. All right, humans, I'll catch you on the next one. I got to get back to my homework. Take care.